Okay, this is the very first video of the Australian documentary. I'm here with Mr. Dustin.
Hey.
So me and Dustin are driving to the 12 Apostles, which is a small little area with some rocks and a good view.
Insane.
So, Dustin, tell us about your overseas experience so far. How's Melbourne treating you?
Melbourne has been nothing but a blast. The club I'm with, I'm very lucky because, the people are really good and it's good to have friends from other clubs around. So we get to do cool shit like this in our off time. So
Dustin's being a great host right now. I'm in Sydney right now playing, so I flew out to Melbourne for the weekend to play with the team out here, and now we're just doing this on our last day. We're here in a little town right now, driving through. We're driving down, well, not right now, we're not, but the Ocean Road. What is it? The Great Ocean Road. So there's some bushfires going on right now, so we're kind of trying to re-navigate and go around them.
it's been like, 40 plus degrees. So definitely a different experience here.
I think it was 44 degrees for our game the other day, and that's like 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Going into the fire. Give us your take right now.
I won't lie, I'm a little nervous. A, because of the fire we might be driving into, and B, because of this truck making weird ass sounds. So
Ongoing bushfire. Okay, so me and Dustin were having a really good conversation just now about the difference between Europe and Australia. But Dustin, for someone who wants to go play either in Europe or Australia, what's the difference in your opinion, whether it be baseball, lifestyle, whatever, however you want to answer the question?
There's a lot of factors. I would say baseball-wise, I'd say it's slightly more known out here. Lifestyle-wise, especially with traveling around and seeing landmarks. In Australia, you're a bit limited. I mean, you can see lots of landmarks within the country, but if you're someone that wants to see multiple countries and different cultures in one summer, then like Europe is pretty much ideal for that.
But I think your overall, kind of what you said, like I think your overall like life experience in terms of like being able to travel and stuff, like you have probably a better time doing that. But I think Australia is great. I think it's been a lot of fun. It doesn't really remind me of anything different than like the United States, to be honest with you. I think you just kind of feel like you're in a big city in the States. Because everyone has a different accent.
Yeah, after being in Europe and then coming here, like English being the main language is just such a game changer too. Like no stress about like chatting up the the clerk at the grocery store or trying to figure out how to order stuff. So
definitely an easy transition into overseas baseball, I think, for a lot of guys. Just because of the fact that, yeah, you have the chance to like go somewhere different and see how far you really want to travel, first off, because I mean Australia is the furthest place from the States, it feels like. Probably is, right? One of the furthest places from the States?
Probably the furthest country away from many, many countries.
Yeah. And then on top of that too, like, you're far from home. You're playing a different level of baseball. So it's a good test to see like if you really want to even do it. And then I think Europe is like the good option after that. Even though you are closer, it's, yeah, what you said, it's a different culture. You probably have to be able to speak Spanish, Italian, Greek, German, French. So
Say having the ABL here is like big game changer in terms of like how big baseball is, because kids and their clubs here, like they grow up watching these games. They want to play for like someday the top team in their club. Having good baseball, lots of like former pros, former D1 guys. Like this guy pitched against freaking Greg Bird today. So
yeah, Europe is still trying to grow and expand the sport, and obviously so is Australia. But you at least go to a park in Australia and there's a baseball field there. Dude, I have double cameras, and I'm also trying to look myself and take in the view. We made it. No one's living in the moment. We're all on our phones. All right, let's hear your review of the 9 apostles. It's not even 12 because there's 3 of them that have fallen over the years.
A little bit scammed. There's not even 12. Not even worth the drive anymore. Honestly, I give it a 12 out of 10. I mean, don't think you have to explain much.
Driving back to the 12 apostles for sunrise. I'm currently pissed off at Dustin for waking me up to do this, but
it's worth it.
He said it's worth it, so maybe one day in my life I'll be happy about it. All right, it is like what, 8 a.m., 7 a.m. right now?
8 a.m., 9 a.m.
9 a.m. We woke up at 5 this morning to go see the sunrise, but now we're walking to the beach.
Dogs are coming out. Some of my dogs right now.
Getting our car serviced, so we're walking around. We are in
Apollo Bay.
So
Great little beach town, small town.
So people ask me all the time about like the league that we play in. So in Australia, you have the ABL, which is like the top league. It's kind of shrunk over the past few years. It's only what, 4 teams now, I think. So me and Dustin don't play on the ABL team. We play in the state league. So each city has their own league that is under the ABL, essentially, where ABL players go back and forth between like their city's team and then also to like their club team or like their suburb or part of the town they live in, right? So I live in a city south of Sydney, or a town south of Sydney. Dustin, where do you live?
Kew, which is just pretty much right beside the main city of Melbourne.
That's a fair assumption, right? Like that's kind of what the baseball is like here. It's based on like suburbs,
Yeah.
essentially, and all of them play. And some leagues are different, right? Like so, Sydney only has, I don't know, I'm just guessing here. I'm gonna say they have 10 teams, while Dustin's league has what, 16?
16 in the first, but yeah, even like I think the leagues below us, there's other clubs that don't have a Division 1 team, so
We have a lot of free time. Like, we have the privilege of being able to go off and do this like on an off day. While like when you're in indie ball and you're in affiliate ball, which I would love to play affiliate ball team for an affiliate ball team, but you play almost every single day. When I play indie ball, we're playing 6 days a week. While some guys, it's for them, they love that. For me, I like being able to play. For example, here we play twice a week. In Europe, it was twice a week as well. That way you have like free time. And what do you do for a living right now?
right now, so I work a part-time job for my coaches that already own a business. A lot of imports that play for my club typically work for them, but I just do general labor for a kitchen building and kitchens for bars around. So when I work, I'm driving around the city helping deliver stuff for different bars and restaurants. Super flexible with my baseball schedule. Train on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The cool thing that I didn't really know of, I think it's pretty common for clubs at least in Melbourne, but on Thursdays when our club trains, we have like parents and volunteers that cook up dinner while we practice. And as soon as we're done practice, we just go straight to the clubhouse and we all have like a team dinner together. We get to hang out. That's the cultural part I really enjoy about club baseball in Australia for sure.
It all depends on like the team, but each team has a certain amount of imports. So I think at least in Sydney, you get 2 imports, I believe. So I have an import with me in Australia right now, who's also American as well, but really you'll find guys from everywhere. The thing I like a lot about just overseas baseball in general is that the majority of the ball clubs that you play for will pay for your flight, they'll pay for all your expenses getting here. And for example, like we're driving a car that was given to Dustin. And then on top of that too, you have the chance to either live in an apartment if they pay for it, or live with the host family. So I live with the host family right now. Dustin, you live with the host family too.
Yep.
So it is what you make it. Like I think a lot of guys, if you enjoy traveling and don't mind being far away from home, it's not super time consuming on a baseball end. So you do have a lot of free time to explore a little bit. But what do you think, Dustin? Do you think Europe or Australia for baseball?
For me personally, I'm saying Australia, just because I think you're more likely to play against guys that have college experience. A lot of Aussies do play college ball, and a lot of guys have played pro ball that are from here. So competitiveness wise, I would say Australia. They're both different, because at least in Europe, when you play there for your club, like you're an ambassador to the game, you're trying to help grow the sport, you're helping the youth players of your club. So they're both enjoyable in different ways, but I would go Australia.
Like I think Australia is a good transition for guys that are early on in their overseas career. I prefer European baseball just because of the fact that you're in Europe, and I think Europe is a great place. Australian baseball is a lot more competitive. You do have a lot more guys that go to college and go play. And on top of that too, a lot of the ABL guys are playing for their clubs or their local clubs during the season as well. They're going back and forth between the two. So yeah, you're constantly seeing like good hitters and as a pitcher, or you're facing good pitching as a hitter. I prefer European baseball just because I enjoy traveling in Europe. But I think Dustin's a good person to ask as well, because you've played where?
I played in Germany for 2 summers. But I will say, in terms of like free time and going out to do whatever and to go out and explore, Europe is really, really good for that. Baseball focus wise, Australia, like especially if you're from Canada or the US and you've never left North America, going to Europe and having all that free time to like embrace the culture, experience new things, like it's a rude awakening, I would say. So I shouldn't say rude, that sounds harsh, but you know, it's an eye-opener. You know, you learn a lot about yourself when you're in a completely different culture, completely different country with different languages. So you develop a lot of life skills, in my opinion, when you're in Europe. So
it does really make you have to grow up really quick and like mature in a way. Australia might, since it's so kind of close in terms of culture to the States, it's not as difficult, I should say. It's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah.
I know it's not like the most exciting thing to watch, but it's good for guys to hear, I think, because I mean, I didn't know any of this stuff, and people ask me all the time on Instagram how much I get paid and stuff, and I figured it'd be good to talk about it, because some clubs or leagues do pay you, others don't. They just give you a job. So it really just depends on where you go. If you are getting paid through baseball specifically, you're getting paid probably indie ball money, or maybe a little less. Depends on where you go. One guy I talked to just signed with a team in Europe, and he's getting paid 1,300 euros a month, which is like probably what, 1,600 bucks US. It all depends on where you go, but yeah, definitely a good experience regardless. But an all expenses paid for trip to Europe for 6 months is not a bad idea. Definitely a good experience, especially if you go with a friend. So like here in Australia, I have friends like Dustin that I can go see. But also too, like in Germany, I went with my buddy Ethan, my best friend. So got a chance to play in Europe with my best friend for 6 months, and all expenses paid for a trip. So definitely, if you have like a gap between school and a job, or you hate your job and you want to make a career change, definitely something to consider in terms of if you still have that itch to play baseball. What's been like your biggest culture shock in Australia?
pretty stupid answer. I think picking up on a lot of the terms they use that I didn't even know. It's not even like, not trying to roast them, but not even real English, some words they say. So I was telling Miles earlier, I have like a notes thing in my phone of like all the ridiculous phrases and terms. Like if there's any Canadians watching this, I feel like it's very, very easy to transition from growing up in Canada to moving to here. I just feel like there's a lot more similarities compared to when I lived Canada and US. You might have to cut that out. You might have to cut that out.
Interesting take.
Other Canadians I've met have, I think it's just the mannerisms, or like maybe some of the things we say.
It's okay, man. We're gonna cut some things out anyway, so
we'll not use that.
Probably half the things that I say we're gonna cut out. There's sometimes a language barrier between me and my host family because they say things that I have no idea what they're even talking about, and I always give them crap for it.
I was gonna follow up. I was gonna say the driving, but yeah, you gotta be like insanely cautious of your driving because there's like speed cameras at every other intersection. There's red light cameras. There's cameras that look to see if you're, I mean, you shouldn't be on your phone, but there's cameras that look to see if you're like fiddling around or texting while you're driving. The first 2 weeks I was pretty nervous. I was pretty scared driving.
But not only are you driving on the left side of the road, but you're also driving on the other side of the car as well. So if you're an American, you sit on the left side of the car. Now you're sitting on the right side of the car. So, but everything else I think is fairly similar. Structure of all the European teams as well. I'm not sure. I don't think it's like this in Australia, but like teams is it relegated? Is that how you say it? Structure in Europe is the first division, second division, and the third division. Third division is kind of more casual baseball. It's more like a men's league. Second division is like the teams that are trying to fight for a spot in the first division. So if you don't play well enough and you're like the bottom like 2 teams in the league, you get moved down, and then the bottom 2 teams or the top 2 teams in second division move up. So there's a fight or competitiveness to like play well because you can get bumped down to the lower division. Australia, from my knowledge, is not like that. But I've also been wrong in videos before. I've said really dumb things in these videos and posted them without any clue of what I was talking about. Your European baseball goes from April all the way until like September or even the beginning of August. Depends on what league you play in and how far you make it into playoffs. But you only play 2 games a week. So like in Germany, I was there from April all the way until early September. We only played 30 games. Australia is kind of the same thing. Australia, you're here from beginning of September all the way until like beginning of April. In hopes of making the playoffs and being here for the whole time. Dustin, what has been your favorite thing about Europe and Australia?
Baseball-wise in Europe, Kingston Ball is probably my favorite part this summer. Pretty much like an international baseball tournament slash music festival where all these teams from different countries come together and you just play in a fun tournament for the weekend and get to hang out, enjoy the music, enjoy good food. Life-wise in Europe, I did a mini road trip to Prague, Vienna, Budapest.
Favorite baseball part about Australia?
Saturdays are usually fun. After a Saturday game, whether it's a win or a loss, you'll hang out in the clubhouse. Usually the visiting team or the away team will also join you for drinks and food as well. I enjoy that part of it. Life-wise, spending New Year's in Sydney was pretty crazy with this guy here. So
that is one thing that I will say about Australia baseball that does suck was being away for Christmas with your family, from your family. And you have the option to go home. You got to pay for your own flight though. And it's pretty damn expensive when you look at the prices like around that time. But my host family was great. They really did it up for Christmas and made me feel like I was home. So being away from Christmas, from your family on Christmas is really weird. It's a weird feeling.
When you're living in summer and it's like 35 degrees, like it is just like not much of a Christmas. It does not feel like Christmas at all.
Dustin says 35 degrees. He means 35 degrees Celsius.
Fuck's sakes.
So my favorite part about Europe with baseball was my very first start. It was my first start in 7 years. I was a closer in school, at least with the 4-year school I was. Yeah, a really cool experience to just start again. And I'd also been going through a lot like mentally and just like in terms of baseball and been struggling for a long time, for like the past year and a half. And doing my first start, doing well, and throwing like 120 pitches like in April, the first start as the pitching coach, being dumb. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time, and it made me like, appreciate baseball once again. Life-wise in Europe, just I think there was a handful that I really enjoyed. I just liked the luxury of being able to hop on a plane and go somewhere after like your series. So like we went to Corfu, Greece, me and my roommate Austin, and yeah, being able to travel and just see different parts. Now Australia, definitely by far my favorite baseball experience was playing with the Down Under Travelers. Not sponsored, not getting paid to say
ads.
That. Yeah, no free ads. But being able to play with them against the Melbourne Aces was a lot of fun. It was a cool experience, and getting flown out here to be a part of it. Very blessed. Good opportunity. Just
a big leaguer went 0 for off Miles Martinez. How about that? Not a big deal.
My favorite life part about Australia, my life experience, I think going to New Zealand. We went to Queenstown, so it's not even Australia. We went to Queenstown, which is on the South Island of New Zealand, and it was by far the most beautiful place I've ever been in my whole entire life. It reminded me a lot of like Colorado Springs, if you've ever been to Colorado Springs. We were there for 4 or 5 days. Also too, if you're an American, coming to Australia is very cheap in terms of the conversion rate. So the Australian dollar is like 65 cents to $1 US. You pay $100 Australian, which is like 65 US, and you buy like a week's worth of groceries. So it's great. Versus like in the States, when I was home, I was paying like $9 for a thing of ground beef, and I was unbelievably pissed off.
Around here, I had a meat pie at that little coffee shop there.
Nice little beach town. We're in Lorne right now, so. Show us how you get the rice. See it.
Okay. It's all about movement and it's pretty wet, so you gotta like, you gotta scoop it. It's not dry. Video.
Okay, Dustin, we made it to the Great Ocean Road sign. What do you got?
The trip is slowly ending. That's the only sad part about it. But it signifies what an amazing, beautiful day it is. It brings a feeling of being grateful, of happiness, but also a little sad feeling that today, the day's ending.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet is the competition. Here in Australia, for example, the ABL is a good league. A lot of guys who have affiliate time or even big league time that are older or need some more like developmental stuff, they'll come back to Australia and do it. It used to be a league where teams would send off their guys to get extra work in. So like Arnold Acuna, did he play? So he played with the Melbourne Aces at one point. But in terms of competition, the baseball scene here is bigger versus Germany. Like, it's a very niche group of people, and there's not a big population in baseball there. Different leagues across the country. I can only speak for Sydney because that's where I've played. But Sydney, I think, is more balanced competition-wise. You have a lot of good players kind of across like the entire league. Versus in Germany, when I played with the first division there, like the best teams in Germany, for example, like are probably like a good JUCO. Bottom teams are really struggling. Have a lot of young guys. It also depends too. Like a lot of teams don't bring in imports. Sometimes they save money and try to like not spend money on imports sometimes, or some years. Dustin, can you speak on your experience in terms of German baseball versus Australian baseball?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I meant earlier when I mentioned that baseball-wise, I would pick Australia over Europe. Like for my personal experience so far in Australia, like when I look at the coaching staff that I'm lucky to have, like we have 2 guys that played in the Olympics for their country. One of our coaches played AAA for the Mariners. One of my teammates, served time in the big leagues for a couple of seasons. So like you don't find that quite often when you're in Europe, when you're working with like a coaching staff or like having teammates with that experience. So yeah, you're just more likely to find others that have had professional experience, whether it's in the States or in the ABL. Like I said before, because of the ABL, baseball development is pretty big at a young age, I feel like, in Australia.
Obviously, like the leagues across Europe are all different. I think from what I've heard personally, like top 3 leagues are like the Netherlands, Italy, and the Czech. After that, it goes like Germany and then France, and then it kind of trickles down. I definitely think like Germany is competitive. It's a good place to be and a good place to start, I think, if you're just starting off your overseas career. But I think if you really want to play like really competitive baseball, you really want to aim for like the Netherlands, Italy, and the Czech. And that's where you'll find guys with more like experience in terms of baseball, like affiliate guys, especially like the Netherlands and Italy, because it's very rare for them to bring in guys that don't have affiliate time. They always bring in guys that are either with European passports that are Latin, or guys that have had good affiliate experience. I'm gonna chop this up because I've been stuttering really bad. Yeah, a lot of tongue twisters. Oh my God. A lot of tongue twisters for me today. I cannot speak. I know a few guys that have played in the Czech that have really enjoyed it. They say it's competitive, but really, I mean, anywhere you go, if you're in it for the right reasons, like, let's be honest here, if you're gonna go to some of these leagues to try to get signed, is it possible? Yes, it is possible, but the odds of you getting signed out of one of these leagues is probably pretty limited. A lot of guys that start off in these leagues end up going back to the States to play indie ball. My recommendation is if you want to play affiliate baseball, it's best to stay in the States and play, like indie ball, for example, after school, because you'll probably have a little more credibility under your belt showing those stats versus if you go overseas. And not to say there's not good players overseas or there's not good competition overseas, but I think, you're facing better hitters every day in the States, right? And on top of that too, scouts, coaches, people are more familiar with these leagues in the States versus overseas. Therefore, when you show them, hey, here's my Frontier League stats, here's my Pioneer League stats, they can have a better comparison to what you may do or what it may be like for you in affiliate ball. I think that's probably the best advice I would give for someone who is thinking about playing overseas baseball, is to kind of know where your heart is first. Like if you want to go travel and experience the world, like I say go for it, then do it. But if you still have like this desire to like want to sign as a free agent, I would stay in the States.
Like you just got to be honest about like what your goals are, whether you're done playing college or whatnot. But like for me, I was a small college guy. I played at a small NAIA school, and personally for me, like I still had the itch to play for fun. I had no desire to play indie ball or pro ball in Canada or the US. And when I heard about playing baseball internationally, like in Europe and Australia, like for me, I haven't traveled that much outside of North America. So the travel aspect for me, that was a goal of mine that I wanted to do. And baseball kind of just served as like a ticket for me to do that. That being said, like I have a role and I still have a duty to do my best for my club. But with that being said, there's no like, it's not life or death. baseball's not so cutthroat when you're overseas. Like, the club that wants to have you, they want you to enjoy the experience. They want you to, you know, travel around. They want you to embrace the culture with. So for me, it was just like traveling was a big goal, and still wanting to play, you know, like I was a kid. I can still have fun. I can still play competitive baseball. Finding a team overseas was like, ticked all the boxes for me in terms of what I wanted. So you got to be honest with yourself and what your goals are. If you're trying to sign with a minor league team or a pro team, I wouldn't say that going to Europe would be like the perfect path. Not saying it's not possible, but it's got to be realistic with what you want and what you want to get out of your experience.
Yeah, you definitely kill two birds with one stone. Like, you get your dose of baseball, and you also too get to travel as well if you're someone who likes to travel. Like, the thing that made me attracted to the European baseball, or just baseball in general overseas, is like starting somewhere where like baseball is seen as like not as competitive, and then like climbing the chain like in European baseball, for example, where you end up in the Czech, you end up in Italy, you end up in the Netherlands. Like, then of course you still get your competitiveness out of you, and then you also get to travel and live in different places as well. So guys like Jimmy Jensen, for example, who runs BBJO, like he's lived in
every fucking country that exists.
God knows how many countries he's lived in. Overseas baseball is not for everyone, and that's okay, but have like even a little bit of desire or like just curiosity, like definitely look into it and try to figure out like how you can even try it. Because look, it's 6 months of your life or 5 months of your life, and if you hate it, you can always go back home, especially when it's all paid for too. Like, most of it's all expenses paid for, like for your flight out here and stuff. Let's say you want to go for vacation, like, you know, 1 year, you know, you're going to spend what, $5,000 out of your pocket to just get over here to Australia, for example, round trip.
So for guys in college, you may not end your college career or what you may think be your whole baseball career on the note that you want to. So that's why overseas has been popular for many people. And like for me, I came to the realization, especially when I started playing overseas, like there's more to life than just baseball. It affects someone enormously in terms of how you approach life, the way you learn, the way you go about your things. Is like, so you're with an overseas club, you know, yeah, they want you to do good. Yeah, they want you to help their team win. But at the end of the day, like, it's a game that brings people together. It's a game that creates good relationships, creates connections. I mean, look, I'm friends with this doofus. It's awesome that I can still continue to play like a positive role with a club, and at the same time get to follow passions of traveling, get to meet new people, and just get to experience something new. If baseball has been too much of like it's been a burnout for you, training at home, taking some time away from baseball, and then revisiting to find a way to play overseas, it changed my life. It'll do wonders for you.
For me personally, I had a really bad like last year of just college baseball. Like, I just didn't perform the way I wanted to, and I was kind of inconsistent. So having like that chance to like go back and just prove it to myself that like I could still compete, I think is huge. And then on top of that, talking about you wanting to have a new life experience and stuff, like you're also coming over here to a country where kids want to do the same thing you do, just in reverse. You know, they want to go to the States and play. So I think like being able to share your experience in the States and what you did and how you got to college baseball or to the level you played at is good for kids to hear and to kind of just, you know, yeah, again, be a positive role model for those who want to do it and help guide them to their passion of getting over to the States and playing. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go! You're all doing a read. Okay, say what's up.
What's up?
How is it, dude?
It's pretty good, man. Mango, chocolate, and 2 opposite flavors here.
Ew. Nice.
You said ew? Yeah, dude. What do you mean ew? What'd you get?
Raspberry?
Woman. Dude. Shogo, how is it?
You recommend?
I recommended it. Good?
Who's calling?
Bravo. That's good.
Good stuff.
I don't know what this is, but that's my...
You don't want to know what that is.
Okay, I just finished editing the video, so if you're someone who doesn't know what the next steps are in their baseball career or their life and you have college baseball experience, I highly recommend trying this out. I mean, it's been a lot of fun for me. It's changed my life dramatically over this past year. So I can't speak highly enough about it, but shout out to Baseball Jobs Overseas. They're the ones that got me the opportunity to be out here in the first place. I'm not employed by them, and this video is not sponsored by them, but just want to give thanks to where it's due. So if you have any questions about overseas baseball, always feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, mmartinez.51, or even leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you. So I really appreciate it, and see you guys here later.